Well, let's see here. Hello? I really had no idea where I was about to go with that. Just sort of, off, I guess, or something. I don't know. Well, I guess. Wow. I know what I want to say, but I really don't know how to go about saying it. So, let me get to my little highlight comments. That's how it. So, my low is that yesterday it was cold. Again. But, so far we've actually been kind of lucky and haven't really gotten much in the realm of snow. Which, if we can just hold out for another 2 months with minimal to no, if we can just keep, the temperature is cold, but it's one thing for the temperature to be cold. It's one thing if the temperature is cold and the weather is bad. That's worse. So, we just have to last, 21 plus 28, 49 plus, 25. So, you're looking at around 74 days until spring. And even then, it's not guaranteed. But, progress. I mean, winter did technically only start a couple of weeks ago. Not even a couple weeks ago, actually. So, there you go. But, my high is, I talked to my mom and dad a little bit last night. That was really nice. It was really great talking to them and going over, talking about getting together for dinner on a Monday. That was wonderful. And my act of kindness was I ran an errand for my grandmother yesterday. Very simple. Very, nothing major. Just had to run something over to one place. It's fine. So, let's see. I just realized it's the first hump day of 2022. Good morning and happy hump day, everybody. So I figured to get us over that hump, I thought this over and, I might as well just bang out these next two videos out quickly, probably today and tomorrow. And, I was debating which because they're both going to be movies of my youth, I can assure you. And I already talked about, Ace Ventura, so I think you can guess where these next two are headed, now don't you? So, I'm debating which one I wanted to talk about first. And considering that Monday I talked about my favorite Jim Carrey character, see, this is tough because both of these two, because in case you couldn't tell, both of the movies I'll be talking about are The Mask and Dumb and Dumber. I think I'll do easily the most quoted one that everyone loves, which I would think is Dumb and Dumber. I'll do The Mask tomorrow. Because The Mask ought to be something I should save until, actually, sorry, I have a clock right below me. I keep thinking today's the 6th, but no, it's only the 5th. So, if your birthday is January 5th, happy birthday to anyone whose birthday is on January 5th. You know who you are. So, I think I'll talk about Dumb and Dumber, which, full disclosure, I never really saw it when it first came out because I think I might have been too young when it happened. But I can tell you that my very first experience with Dumb and Dumber really has nothing to do with being in the movie theater at all. It actually has to do with being in 7th grade, specifically science class. Wait for it. So, the way 7th grade science class worked, for at least what we were taught anyway, is there was like a huge sort of like emphasis on learning about like all the on learning about the different kinds of vertebrates and we're learning about the different kingdoms in science class. You know, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the fungus kingdom, both of the bacteria kingdoms. And for the life of me, there's one other that I cannot think of. Protozoan, I think. Anyway, my point is, we're learning about the different kingdoms in science class, and the vast majority of what we did was the animal kingdom because it can be broken down into vertebrates and invertebrates, and there was a lot to do with the invertebrates, and we got to talking about worms. And my science teacher says, anyone heard of the movie called Dumb and Dumber? A few kids, like, I could hear them like, like they knew exactly what was going on. I'm like, wait, there's actually a movie called Dumb and Dumber? Because I think there was like an extra credit thing going on or something. I don't know. Maybe it was like a bonus answer to like a quiz or something. But the question was, does anyone know what their bait shop was going to be called? And then another kid in my class said, I've got worms. I should have known that was going to be the kind of movie that Dumb and Dumber is. And keep in mind, that literally is about as teeny tiny of a tip as the iceberg gets here. Because I actually have seen this movie at least twice, since then. And I've obviously seen, like, everyone's done all the most famous quotes of that movie. I mean, if you don't know how the movie works, basically involves these two guys, one of them played by Jim Carrey, and another one played by Jeff Daniels. And there are these two guys who, as you could imagine, they are both dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, one of the more funny and iconic scenes of the movie is, like, they're at this gas station and hold on. The two guys' names. Jeff Daniels plays Harry, and I think Jim Carrey plays Lloyd. I think that's how it was. It's been a while since I've seen it, so bear with me. Like, they're at this gas station, and Harry's the one pumping gas at the gas station, and he sees this one car pull up. It has skis on top. And I think, like, this beautiful woman walks out, and he's like, so, are those skis yours? She's like, yes. And he's like, both of them? And, yeah. If there's seriously, I think of, like, the most, like, famous, like, fictional cars in, like, movies and cartoons and all that stuff. No one ever talks about the Shaggin' Wagon. Seriously, I love the name, the Shaggin' Wagon. It's right up there. I mean, yeah, I get why it's not as famous as stuff like the Batmobile or Kit from Knight Rider. But come on, man, it's a giant dog. Everyone loves dogs. There's no dogs, man. I don't know. Keep in mind, I'm not really an expert on this movie by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just talking about, like, my personal experiences and opinions overall about the movie. Although, back when I was in college, because keep in mind, I always was sort of a goofy, acting kind of guy, still am by all accounts, there was one guy I knew who was convinced I would love the movie Dumb and Dumber. Like, convinced I would love the movie Dumb and Dumber. I mean, I had seen it before all this happened. And whenever he brought it up, there was one quote that, I always thought of when, it came up. It's like that one scene where Harry and Lloyd are in the Shaggin' Wagon driving this one mobster, I think, They're like, ma, burn, mockingbird. Like that scene. Like that's all. There actually is one other thing, but I'd rather not get into that right now. So, that scene always stuck out to me. And I would think the most famous scene of the movie is, because if you don't know the premise, Harry and Lloyd are going across the country to chase after this one very pretty girl that they meet, who lives like out in the mountains or something. Oh yeah, that does remind me. I think like they try and sabotage each other, and I think it's Lloyd, played by Jim Carrey, who puts like a laxative or something in Harry's food, and so he's on the toilet, but the gag is like the toilet's out of order. Okay, honestly, if you're a kid, that's gonna get you, for sure, in terms of like sheer laughter. I think like the movie ends, if I recall correctly, the movie ends with like neither one of them gets the girl, but they make up because they're so good of friends or whatever. So I guess all's well that ends well. But the final scene of the movie is they're out in the middle of nowhere, stranded, with no ride, and then like there is this bus that shows up, and it's full of like drop dead gorgeous women who pull up, and you would think that because Harry and Lloyd are stuck in the middle of nowhere, here's the thing, these women are lost and they're asking for directions, and Harry and Lloyd, being the good-natured guys that they are, they're dumb, but they're not horrible human beings. I want to make one thing clear. You can be dumb and still be very likable and warm and funny. And that's honestly what these two guys are, for sure. I should probably take a moment to explain that the chemistry between Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey is actually very undeniable in this movie. Highly underrated. Anyway, so they're giving these directions, and after the bus leaves, they're like, okay, they're stranded in the middle of nowhere, very high up, like desert-looking area. They're like, wait! And they stop them just to be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong directions. You want to go this way, not the way I just told you before. And then the bus drives away. So basically, they're all still stuck there. But again, that's just what kind of movie this is, and if that's sort of, because let's be honest, this movie, by all accounts, is funny, but it is so stupid. It is very stupid. I mean, there's this one scene after Harry and Lloyd have an argument. Harry is the one walking in like the middle of nowhere or whatever, because like they lost gas, they don't have gas for their car or something, so one of them has to like get to where this girl is, and obviously because Lloyd forgot to fill the car up with gas or something, like Harry just storms off in the middle of nowhere. So Lloyd finds a way to redeem himself by getting a motor scooter. And I think like he traded all the rest of the money they had for it or something. And then Harry's like, just when I think you couldn't be any more dumb, you do this and totally redeem yourself. Again, this movie is stupid, but I totally see why a lot of people like it. Heck, back when I acted all goofy and stupid myself, I can see why a lot of people associate this movie with me. I mean, yeah, I want to think they were, I get why they were kind of insulting me in that way, but I can see like the good nature behind it too. So, I guess I should probably talk about Dumb and Dumber, which is like that sort of like prequel that isn't very good. I mean, that's Shia LaBeouf in it, that should tell you, right? Someone else right there. It really wasn't well received But from what I hear, the one redeeming quality about that movie is that the two guys that they got to be Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey, they look like Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey. They look like the young Harry and Lloyd. So give credit where credit's due. And while I'm at it, I should also talk about Dumb and Dumber 2, which was actually like the very first time Jim Carrey ever really worked on a sequel in like 20 plus years or whatever. I mean, I didn't see Dumb and Dumber 2. But I do know that anyone who was a fan of the original Dumb and Dumber had a blast watching it. So, I'll give credit where credit's due, If you grew up watching the original Dumb and Dumber, you would probably think Dumb and Dumber 2 is, just as funny, at least. Although it was really kind of cute when the title Dumb and Dumber 2 is like Dumb and Dumber TOO. So yeah, I can see the humor in that. That works. In the end, again, these movies are completely stupid. Honestly, there are better ways to entertain. There are better movies with which to entertain yourself that are actually smart. But, if you want to turn your brain off for just like under 2 hours, you'll have fun. And, again, I mean, if there's one thing about this movie I could always say is, and I just said earlier, Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey just have really good chemistry. They do. You can really buy that as dumb as these two are, they're good-natured best friends. And yeah, they clearly have an argument in the movie. But they totally make up with each other later. So, yeah. I would recommend. I mean, pretty obvious, I wouldn't really be doing in movies of my youth unless I recommend the movie. So, again, if you grew up in like the 90s and early 2000s, and if you're a Jim Carrey fan, and again, you want to turn your brain off for an hour, yeah, Dumb and Dumber is a pretty serviceable movie. And if you like to see what happens after the original, Dumb and Dumber 2 might serve you well. If you're going to watch Dumb and Dumber, I would say try your best to only see the scenes with Harry and Lloyd in them. That's like my recommendation. Because from what I hear, that entire movie is terrible. But again, you can definitely buy that the two actors they got to play Harry and Lloyd are genuine. So that's always good. Like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on Social Penetration YouTube. I am very home in this video for all of you guys watching Enjoy for today. I hope we have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. I forgot the day. First time this year, I forget what day it is. And remember, if you want to talk, channel, to be here to let in here. I always have your back. Take care and make good choices. See ya. Okay, you know what? I think I will do it. You guys want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?